This is Zettelcast, brought to you by readers, writers, thinkers, and teachers from LiLLiPub, along with our partners in thought, our Zettelcastans. In this show, we share discoveries that our Zettelcastans have shown us.
There you go.
And compare notes on how we're using this marvelous invention in our creative work. Thank you for joining us.
All right, Brooke, let's do it again.
All right.
Episode 57. What's thought in time?
All right, hi, this is Deb Hart here, and we're at episode number 57. What's thought in time? Now, we've had some discussions about time before with Chronos and Kairos, and we've come to the conclusion, well, scientists have come to the conclusion that time is an internal thing. And it changes with experience. It changes with what's going on in your mind and what's going on in your world. The speed of it changes going back and forth. So this time we are looking at two dimensions of consciousness, time and brain fog. We know both distort how we think, feel, and create. So given that, I've asked our participants to choose one or both prompts to approach as fiction, reflection, or as a thought experiment. However they see it, it was cool with me. Okay, so the first one is how the game, how does the game influence instances of brain fog? And the idea is to explore the emotional, physical, and sensory effects of altered time perception on thought. So the marching orders create a scene, an inner monologue, or even a speculative essay. And the second activity, if we get to it, is if brain fog were a character, what would it look like? What would it say, do, see, and or want to avoid? And I ask everybody to aim as deeply as possible into vivid sensory detail. Maybe even prepare us a piece that you can read out loud so we can hear what brain fog has to say. Okay, so those were the two activities. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Yeah.
I responded with fiction, and I wrote a segment of the story. It was perfect timing because I have this character, Helen, who came on the ship. She was one of the people that came over to Lydia, but she came not to play the game herself, but because her husband was so passionate about playing the game. Of course, they got there and the game never started, and oh well, they lived their life. And she had 3 children who are now getting old enough that they're at the point where she could blink and all 3 could be out on their own. She's enjoying having them at home for the last part of their at-home lives, but she knew she needed to get something else going on, so she went to work at the Hinge. And while she was at the Hinge, she was given the job of scanning a number of tray after tray after tray, drawer after drawer after drawer of Zettelcast cards that we met from Mel's character, Javi, who had found them in the 4th basement of the Hinge. So they stole them from him, and he didn't know where they went. Well, they landed on Helen's desk, and her job is to scan them in. So she discovered she could, whatever she set her mind to accomplish in that afternoon, shockingly, she had just enough time to meet her goal. And so she started playing with that and discovered that pretty much no matter what goal she set for herself, she just accomplished it. So she really played silly and gave herself this ridiculously small goal, a quarter of a drawer. She finished doing the quarter of the drawer and the time hadn't budged at all. Not moved. And she knew the jig was up. She was playing, time was a game. So then, of course, we saw her going home. She was reflecting. She saw the sunflower. She was offered a pedal to ride the vane, and she chose not to, but enjoyed watching it. Now she's home, and her mind's in complete brain fog because of all of the strangeness that's going on. She has to reevaluate her whole life. And so Helen faces her brain, foggy brain. When Helen arrived at her doorstep from her strange experience at the vein, her mind was a jumble. She had tried to sort out her feelings as she walked the short distance from the vein to her townhouse, but her thoughts refused to stay on any one track. As she mindlessly hung up her coat and carried her lunchbox to the kitchen, her need to sort things out became an unheard cry directed toward her non-functioning brain. She needed to journal, but she also needed to make dinner. A comforting thought drifted through her mind, a short, sweet memory. She was a teenager, and she and her mom had been on a precious, rare shopping trip together. But they were late getting home, and her dad would soon be arriving from work and expecting dinner. With a conspiratorial look, her mother quickly chopped some onions and minced up a small mound of garlic. With these two aromatics on to saute, they had time to put away their purchases. Did anyone say conceal their purchases? Only jokingly. Now that was a useful bit of brain fog. Helen followed her mother's example, and soon the kitchen smelled like she had been cooking all day. Then, instead of her journal, she got out a stack of file cards. She labeled 3 cards, past, present, and future, and laid them out like she was playing solitaire. While she prepared fresh mushrooms for chopping, she let her mind run free. It would have been useless to try to control it anyway. When a single word bubbled up and stuck for a moment, she wrote it down, the word on the appropriate card. By the time she had a sauce simmering on the stove, Helen had a collection of concepts she could ponder when mental clarity returned. So her concepts that she had from the past were suspense, nervousness, hope, triumph, and power, as in I am strong. Her concepts for the present were power again, but it is strong, but also playful, also responsive. Possibilities? No, that one goes over in the future column. All right, in the future column, possibilities, explore and play, study and understand, unmask, and versus give in. With that done, she came to an overriding question. How do I feel about being wrapped in play? She swore she wouldn't jump to an answer, but one came anyway. It feels like being wrapped in love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. I like
Great.
that. Yeah, yeah. Wrapped in love. Because some people don't know what to do with brain fog except fight it.
Mhm.
You know, the idea is quick, get rid of this. This is an encroachment on my on my selfness. I'm quick. You know, I'm quick-witted. I'm eloquent. My words come and flow, and everybody loves hearing me speak. And all of a sudden, I'm on an island and I don't know the language. What? No, this is not good. Not good. And that's what I learned in my research, that there's more to brain fog than that. So, yeah. So, who's next?
I can share my cards because they play off of that idea.
Fabulous.
So when I first read the question, I thought I knew I wanted to use the idea as a way for Alex to learn something about herself, that down the line is going to help her make sense of what's going on in this world. So my two cards, one is in the fog and one's out of the fog. And what I want, the journey that I want to write for her is, what she learns a way internally to kind of recalibrate her perception. So rather than thinking of it as a positive or a negative experience and having that dichotomy, instead, she learns to play in the fog. And so when she's in this state, which the way that I imagine describing it is like when you're super, super tired and you're just having trouble tracking things, or you've completed really intensive, detailed work and you just kind of feel like you're fried. In the beginning, that's something she's struggled with because, she's trying to figure out this world. She's very curious about, the atmospheric elements and what the satellites are and what they're doing. So when she's in the fog, what she discovers is, rather than experiencing it as that burnout or that extreme tiredness or what you would think of as a low or a drained feeling, instead, she has a mind shift and decides, what if instead I treat this as just a meditative time? This is a time when my body is telling me this is not go time, this is slow time. And so what she does when she's in the fog state, she learns to just turn inward and become quiet and use that as kind of a natural signal for rest and reflection. And that's how she learns, wait a minute, I can shift in and out of this. If I allow that state to happen, then I learn by going into that state to trust that I'll come out on the other side. I don't get to control how long that's going to take, but eventually I do come out. And what she finds is, by kind of dancing with that fog state, when she comes out of it, she has more clarity and suddenly things start to click into place and make more sense. So that's the journey that I want to show. Is I want to show, in the beginning, there's resistance and there's fatigue and there's what feels negative and difficult. But by learning to have an interaction with it in this playful internal way, she comes out on the other side feeling like it doesn't have to be a negative state. It can be something that I allow to even rejuvenate or feed me in some way. And that gives me clarity when I finally come out on the other side. So that's how that's going to play out. And there will be an element of like walking through a room of mirrors as she's thinking through this, because it's like, is it over there? No, it's over there. Wait, it shifted. So there will be that element of literally finding your way with play through the fog, so that when you get to the other side, you look back and you go, oh, that's how you go through it. So.
Wow. Get it on the page.
I know. I recorded that, so I'll transcribe that and it will at least give me a draft that I can work with, which I'm finding I've never done that really before, but I have my dear friend, Coach Carrie. She suggested, when you're having trouble, like, getting these assignments done or, whatever, she's like, call me and talk through it. And at least then you'll have a draft to start with. And I'm finding that kind of works. So I'll keep you posted on that. But I like it.
And you've got a big hook into Alex now.
Yeah, I do. I feel like a lot of the fog is cleared, no pun intended. But yeah, I can see her in the world now. So I feel way more confident about being able to write it. I was on the high wire for a while because I couldn't find my way in, but I definitely feel like I get it now. So one pile at a time.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, both you and Kathleen in that space of being able to handle the fog. You know, you handle the fog instead of just giving in and being all upset because the fog has descended on you, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like you guys found a flashlight or something, and
No, that's important. That's part of my character development for her, is I didn't want her, since it's the only character that I'm really working on right now, I wanted her to have some sense of I don't know if empowerment is the right word, but not being defeated by things, but instead looking at them and using that sense of playfulness to find a path through the thing. So that's part of who she is as a character, for sure.
Yeah. Amen to that. Okay. Yeah.
And Helen, for her part, falls back on her whole life has been taking care of her family, so she can cook without it taking any frontal lobe space at all. So she uses the familiarity of cutting, chopping, and putting a sauce together as a platform where she's comfortable letting her brain just do whatever it needs to do.
Yeah. I bet Kathleen Spracklin knows that aspect of Helen very well.
Yeah, that's her happy place.
Yeah, my kitchen's my happy place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except for when I'm with Zeke, of course.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? The idea is to put some of yourself into the story.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it more authentic than anything else, because you've lived that space you're talking about. So it comes through, rings clear, you know? Okay. Next.
Well, I think I sort of did the flip side of what Victoria did. This thought experiment got me back into working with Javi. I'd gotten Javi to the point where he had found the Zettelcast and he was obsessed with reading through it, and then it got taken away from him. And he's been mad at me ever since. I have not been able to write anything with him. He has been sulking. But
we got you, Javi.
This concept of brain fog I started thinking about how that would affect him, because he has the issue where it's difficult for him to access the link. It's uncomfortable. Like things bleed through that shouldn't. Like he's lacking some sort of boundaries that other people just naturally have. And so I think that actually for him, a lot of times going onto the link feels something like brain fog, because there's too much stuff coming at him and he can't keep track of it all. And so normally being outside of the link and focused on some subject, that's where he finds his clarity and his ability to focus. But he got so focused on that Zettelcast and then it was taken away before he finished with it. And so now he's got brain fog all the time, because whether he's attached to the link or not, because he's got so many things going on in his head that are not resolved, and he doesn't know how to resolve them at this point. So he's in a bad way right now. He's got to find a way to get through this and to find a way to resolve some of these things. And perhaps we will find that as he learns to resolve these problems, he may find it easier to connect to the link. He may find that he has developed some strategies that will help him. We'll see. But yeah, now for the first time in his life, he's dealing with this overwhelm without even being attached to the link. And he's also, since he did get back in and see some of the cards that had been scanned into the link, and he has discovered that they're not quite how he remembers them. This is, that was in the last story I wrote about Javi, the last little snippet. Some of those cards are not how he remembers. And so that is making him question everything because he's not sure if he's going crazy or what.
Mm,
Woo!
mm, mm. Not sure if he's going crazy or what. That opens up so much. You could you could drive a semi through that. You know, rich material you got there, guy. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I really like that too. So, okay. Um,
I got a card.
Julianne, you got a
Yeah.
card. Okay.
So I got a bone to pick with you because you kept me up for most of the weekend. I was on I was hooked on a Deb Hart deep sea fishing line.
I was up with you. Believe me, I was.
It
And
was
I didn't get a card.
it was super inspiring. Many spoilers came out, but this is not one. And so my card is about the game, an aspect of the game. And the title of it is Judgments Disguised as Questions.
Ooh.
The Link became adept at detecting judgments disguised as questions. Nearly devoid of curiosity, they took common forms like, why can't I ever? And
Oh.
why do I always? And who cares?
Ah,
Another rich gold mine there.
yeah.
There's definitely, I don't think this is a spoiler. There's going to be a whole thread on language evolution
Yeah.
and its
Ooh.
impact in individual human minds. Like what you don't think because you forget a word means or used to mean.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
finding our values.
Yeah. Or what cruelty we impose on children with our words for numbers. And then we say, look, so many children have trouble with arithmetic. I don't know what's the matter. Well, you just baked it in with your stupid numbers. Write them in Arabic numerals and see them make sense when you just made them all make no sense whatsoever in the English language.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, a woman with a mission. Love
Yeah,
it.
write for a better number names.
Like knee and toe.
Yeah. No more seven. You can't have a two-syllable number for a one-digit symbol.
Mm.
Call it Van if you want, or Sven, or whatever. Sav, you pick. Pig, but it's got to be one syllable.
Gotta make sense, right? Yeah.
Ah.
And
Gotta
then
be
when you get to
logical.
that, when the number that comes after nine, what's this 10 baloney? And a single digit, so you're figuring you got a single digit number there. Doesn't make sense. It's written in two digits. And 11? Give me a break. All despair, the kid's never going to make any sense out of the number system. So it's nine, it should be 920. Two
Yeah.
digits. 2T, 3T, 4T, 5T, 6T, 7T, just like, so it should be 1T1. That should be 11. And then 2T, 3T, 4T. We almost do that. 40 we've got, but 50? Come on. 5T.
That's excellent.
I think that she's found an old bone that she's been wanting to pick for
That's right.
decades.
Yeah.
What better place to unpack it than Roanoke?
Yeah.
Going back 76 years.
Yeah, that sounded really well thought out. You've been there a while. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. Oh, 12:37. Okay. Um, This is me, and I tried to stay away from spoilers. I hope I did. And it comes from a few different places at the same time. So I don't know. So if it sounds too spoilery, let me know. Say something quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There comes a time when you just have to stop lying to yourself. A time when you just have to face it because all the elasticity has gone out of the rubber band. I stand before you naked and very afraid. Naked because I will not lie to myself for the length of another second. And afraid because I know there are those of you listening to me now who will not believe a syllable I utter today. For you, I can only pray you'll rewind my words and play them back to yourselves before the drawbridge is pulled.
Mm.
What am I saying? What truth is it that so many of us are running from on a daily basis? I'm talking about brain fog, my friend. And if you keep living against all the rules for health, it will come knocking on your door sooner. Well, with brain fog, it's always too soon. When it shows up, what's the first thought we have about it? How to get rid of it, of course. For sure, you can't drop a pill or feel it magically melt away. It doesn't work like that. It's cumulative. That's right. It starts with that first night you get only 4 hours of sleep and continue to pile up. And it continues to pile up from there. Lack of exercise, little or no vegetables in your diet, and some would say cooked foods are lifeless and add no nutrition to live off. That heat kills everything worth eating for. In our story, and this is the part, in our story.
That's a perfect pause if this ends up being a spoiler. It's a nice.
So you can edit it. You can edit it.
I can edit it.
Yeah, okay. In our story, linked Lydians cannot remain unaware of themselves. Given no choice, Lydians recognize the two poles of brain fog. The unacknowledged helper, very rarely spoken of, who believes that the body should rule the mind. It sees itself as a circuit breaker, ready to shut down when things get pushed too far. Its core philosophy, protective paternalism. You can hear it saying, "You are going to burn out completely. I stepped in. You think I'm the problem? I'm the solution to the problem you refuse to acknowledge. Please, without me, you'd be in the hospital, the psych ward, or worse. I'm the reason you still function at all, just a bit slower." Care sometimes requires limitation against your will. The helper believes you are not the final authority in your own life. The other pole is the threatener. Their core philosophy is adversarial dualism, where the worldview is summed up in these few words. You and your brain fog are separate entities in conflict. Your will dominates your body mind. So you can hear the threatener saying, "I am the static in your signal, the rust on your blade, the rot in the foundation. I don't belong here. Every moment I exist, I am stealing your life from you, your sharpness, your reliability, yourself. I am not helping. I am parasitic, and you're right to fight me with everything you have." This brain fog demands you to be at war with part of yourself, like cancer requires constant vigilance, constant combat, constant energy expenditure on an internal conflict. It is self-alienation dressed up as self-protection. It's a zero-sum game, a battle against an enemy within. Brain fog episodes like failure, feels like failure, defeats, losses of ground. Brain fog swings like a pendulum between these two poles, just under our conscious awareness, so say our best scientists. We feel the tension getting progressively worse without ever knowing which state we're in during a given episode or why. Come back. Okay, Kathleen. In our story on Lydia, the game reflects how one has lived and the physical, mental consequences thereof. Consequently, to what some may wish, think, or hope, mental clarity is the anomaly that requires constant maintenance. Like any natural state system, our mental state returns to flat levels without energy input. No constant correct input, and over time we break down physically, mentally, and every otherly. Every Lydian carries a playback mirror in the link. Whatever, whether good or bad, nothing sneaks up on a Lydian. That makes them each ultimately responsible for themselves. Ignore the feedback loop in the link. Choose your agony's flavor.
Ooh.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hadn't thought about that. How's that the saying go? Would the gods the gift they give us to see ourselves as others see us?
Yeah.
Oh, playback.
That,
Yeah.
That wasn't me saying that. I don't talk that way.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Fiery.
hmm?
Fiery.
Yeah.
Fiery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Too spoilery. I try to.
No. Nope.
Okay.
All stays. It all stays. I mean, to me, this is what happens sitting here right now when we think about the link.
Mhm.
I would hope that early on in the book, we inspire those sorts of explorations in the reader.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. It strikes me that this book can have all kinds of nuggets for people. All kinds of nuggets. You know,
Yeah.
just
You're going to need a big bib card.
that's right.
Need a big bib for all those nuggets.
And different people will find different nuggets in it, because there's so many characters at so many different stages in their thought development and their lives that there's going to be richness to go around.
Yeah. Lots of different points of view.
Mhm.
Super, super, super.
okay. So in this piece it covers both 1 and 2
Mhm.
because each one of the poles had something to say. So
Mhm.
um does anybody want to jump in for activity 2, or you do? Yes, go ahead, Julianne.
Yeah, I do. So, I am fortunate at this moment in my life that I am not experiencing brain fog, but I have before. And I'm not saying that what I experienced is what other people go through, but there was about a year when I was going through grief,
Ah.
and my mind just wasn't sharp.
Mhm.
And I was fortunately surrounded by understanding people. And there's an older friend from work who, when she learned of my situation, she said, "It will take time."
Mm.
That was the kindest sentence because it gave me hope.
Mm.
So I kind of Having gone through that, come out the other side, I have at least a little bit of empathy for the situation. And this little fable-like thing came out.
Oh.
It's called The Old Bridge. The driver had been given a new route. Traveling through new territory, the driver was keenly aware, taking in all kinds of fresh details, mind full of curiosity. The driver took the exit off of the highway. He continued down a road toward a river. He arrived at a bridge. Was he going the right way? Was that his destination on the other side? He saw the fellow at the bridge and exchanged greetings. Yes, this was the right way. He waved thanks and goodbye to the fellow at the bridge and proceeded to his destination. At the destination, the driver was welcomed, his delivery accepted, and his load replenished to carry to his home base. Coming back over the bridge, he waved happily to the fellow at the bridge, who smiled and waved back. When the driver reached his home, he told his friends of his happy little adventure. News of his success spread, even to someone the driver didn't know, the cartographer who made the map the driver used to get there. Over time, the driver made many return trips to the bridge and destination beyond. He and the fellow at the bridge always waved happily to each other, coming and going. They had a kind of friendly bond. He came to know the way so well that when this route appeared on his sheet, he no longer noticed the details or consulted the map. One day, the driver returned to find the fellow at the bridge behind a barrier, blocking the way. "Why are you blocking the bridge?" the driver asked. The fellow at the bridge told him of a wildfire on the other side. He pointed out some of the devastation visible from their location. "Most of the bridge is gone," he said. Those on the other side had fled to seek a new home upriver. The driver turned around for home, sore with frustration. He shared no news of this failure. The cartographer continued to publish the old map. Later on, the driver returned to the bridge with another load and again found the way blocked. "Why do you return this way?" the fellow at the bridge asked him. The driver replied, "I suppose someone thought it was all fixed." The fellow at the bridge says, "It will not be fixed. The destination is a ruin. Seek the new destination." Again, though, the driver returned home frustrated. He turned his frustration on himself. He didn't know who else to complain to about this. The next time the driver came that way, the fellow at the bridge had erected his barrier further up the road. Otherwise, the conversation and the outcome were as before. After many rounds of this, the driver with the map to the old bridge reached where the highway exit was supposed to be. A deep fog had descended on the area. It was a spooky, alienating fog. He moved slowly on, searching with full attention for a safe place to turn around. When he arrived home this time, he told the story of his adventure in the frightful fog. Through the same network as before, word reached the cartographer. The fellow at the bridge, back at his old post, gazes upriver. He is glad to see, in the distance, the new destination and its new bridge, seeming to bustle with new energy. He never sees the driver again. He hopes that the driver has, at last, been given a new route.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I just have to unpack that for a few minutes. Mm.
What came to mind was that old saying about all roads lead to Rome. Like you can still get there, but you got to go another way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a little ditty, huh? Okay.
Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's an amazing prompt that you gave. It says, make the brain fog a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You made it a whole world. Oh, that's interesting. And the concept of certain things being blocked off forever.
Yeah. I can't
Right.
wait to get Julianne's collection of stories.
Yeah, that one, that's a keeper. Put that one in the anthology.
That's right. That's a keeper.
Thank you.
Oh, interesting.
Right. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah. I didn't know what to deal with brain fog as a character because for me, when I experience brain fog, the most common time when I have it is in the evening after dinner, and I'm trying to grind out a little more work, and I really should just sit back and pick up a novel and relax, and I'm trying
Mhm.
to push myself to do a little more work, and it just comes a point where you're pushing, but you're pushing on jello. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the helper.
Yeah,
The helper saying,
Yeah.
nope, you got to stop. You got to stop. Got to rest.
Yeah.
And you know, why push against that? That concept, that those few paragraphs or whatever you were going to write or trying to write, they will be there when the rest of yourself is there too. So
and for
use
me,
your
I just
use
realized,
your evening. Use your evening
yeah,
to
yeah,
relax,
yeah,
to recharge.
yeah.
But I get you, Kathleen.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
a new skill when you've had 70 some years of doing well
Mhm.
to just be
Yeah.
and not feel, I don't know, do you feel guilty about it? Or you just don't know what you do with yourself? That's
Yeah,
kind of how I am. I'm
yeah,
just looking for
yeah.
how do I be? I don't know. How do I be?
What is what do I need to do? What do I need to start? What do I need to be working on? So during work life, of course, there were always pressing deadlines and situations and the drive to get it done because it had to be done. And then when you come to the fact that, well, actually, I'm kind of all caught up, but I feel like I ought to be doing something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but,
Oh,
I find in those spaces often that's when I get really good ideas because the part of me that's running toward the fire all day, doing the things and all of that, especially in the evening, that's a great way to describe it. That part of me dials down just from, fatigue or whatever. Like my attention shrinks. And sometimes that's a really good thing. It's around here what we call chicken time. We go out, sit by the fire pit, watch the chickens, you know,
yeah.
watch the cows. The cows are like fish milling around in the pasture. And sometimes that's when I get really uh, helpful ideas, like especially if I'm thinking about like my book or my story. That's when those things bubble up because everything else I don't have, as they say, is what's his name, the essay guy, Michael, as he says, he
Ding.
doesn't have the bandwidth for that,
mm,
Yeah.
which is a new use of that word for me. But that it's a good descriptor because when you don't have all that, the tiniest thing like uh, the sound that a cattle gate makes in the wind seems huge in that moment, and that's where those little discoveries kind of stack up. So I don't know. I think learning to sit with that and use it and turn it as a skill, for me that's one of the best parts of being a writer is the more you learn that skill, the richer everything gets, but you have to be able to sit with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
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 Chicken
Yeah.
time.
Me, I was just reading a
Chicken time.
novel. A friend gave me a novel for a birthday gift, and I hadn't opened it yet, so I started reading it. I'm enjoying it. It's it's quite light reading. It's not, a deep involved novel. And I got a great idea for what I wanted, to add, how to how to space out technical things that you're teaching that are take mental energy to absorb with calm spaces in between that the reader can read through lightly. Anecdotes or examples, or even in the examples to stretch them out a bit with some unnecessary details so that the reader has the ability to just read them slowly if they need a brain rest, or skim through them if they're ready for the next thing. It lets the reader pace them.
Yeah.
Nice. You're playing with narrative flow. I love it.
Teacher. Narrative, yep, narrative speed, yep.
Oh, okay. Well, we have reached the top of the hour.
Yep.
So, Kathleen, where can people find us?
Of course. People can find us at lillipub.org. It's where we hang out when we're not here in YouTube land. And boy, do we ever have fun at lillipub.org. We've got a whole section on the Roanoke Project. We've got book clubs. We've got discussion groups on the Zettelcast, on old book reading, on fusion writing, where we meet every Saturday and share each other's writing. You'll have a ton of fun. For a lot of us, it's our digital living room. So come on over to lillipub.org.
Hey.